It seemed like they Chalamet chillin', tryna stack 100 million. Girl got a billion, what the fuck, what a wonderful feeling. Hit to the ceiling, hit to the since 2017, I'm living the dream, getting the cream, I'm living on theme, I'm doing my thing. It's Marty Supreme, it's Marty Supreme, it's Marty Supreme. Flex, flex, now I'm flexing. Got Kody and Korbin, I checkin'. Got model bitches and peckin'. I'm Ryan Reynolds and Wrexham. I'm having fun, just sexting. My dick is young and restless. When they say I'm too senseless, I respond like, bitch, you guessed it. My life is an opera, look at the Oscars, look at the groupies, look at the movies, look at the AAA girl gon' choose me. Look at my haters, man, they wanna sue me. Chillin' in coupe in the 4-door, live on the rack, it's in more door. I live like the king with my sword drawn. It's the Marty Supreme in the 4 rows.
Do you have a favorite bit of Marty Supreme marketing? One of Timmy Chalamet's stunts? Is it the rap song? Is it the ping pong balls inside vending machines? Blimps? I mean, it's been an interesting couple months of Timmy doing his Marty press run.
I mean, yeah, it's been fun to watch. I think my favorite has definitely been, the song, the rap reveal. Easy Kid or SD Kid or something. This rapper he's boys with. I was kind of convinced that Timmy Chalamet was just this guy.
Or the guy was Timmy Chalamet.
Right, one or the other. But they did some weird stuff where there was like a live performance with this Easy Kid, or however you say his name. And he was wearing like, just stuff to conceal his identity, like a mask and, dark clothes and stuff. But it really looked like Timmy, just like from the eye slit. So it was a fun reveal, though.
He's got a handsome set of eyebrows. He's got a nice orbital lobe, I would say. It's prominent. And,
it's supreme, I would say.
Dark hair. It's not quite the unibrow that we see in Marty Supreme. But I understand why people might have thought this rapper was him. And instead, they had a fun little collaboration out of it and made a song.
And it was actually, it was bars from Timmy, for being honest. Like, it was a pretty good verse. So, and it had Marty Supreme kind of references and stuff. So I thought it was just a good inclusion, kind of a fun reveal in the music world. But at the same time, promoting, kind of Marty Supreme. So a little 2-for-1, which I definitely enjoyed.
I think it's been a fun press run. I think we both like Chalamet a lot. We've been following his career as our podcast has been kind of in action the last couple of years, and we've done a couple movies with him, especially the Dune franchise we're huge fans of. This persona that he's adopted, that he's taken on in this press run, like I think to some people it's starting to get on their nerves, and to me I'm kind of being like, all right, I'm getting a little sick of it. I think he's started to back off and kind of return to like a more genuine version of himself. But I think you had to realize that all of it was kind of a little bit of playing a character and being exuberant and kind of a level beyond who he truly is. And when he posts this Zoom recording on his Instagram of a marketing meeting, you have to realize, like, it's not actually a marketing meeting. Obviously, this is a skit. The entire thing is a built out, scripted, very meticulously planned attempt to get people to go see this movie. Amazingly, I think a lot of it is kind of him and like just him pushing to be like, I want to do this thing. I want to do this. Some of it works more than others. The fits have been interesting. Him and Kylie both coming in with the orange clothes has been interesting. Blimps, I love. The Marty Supreme jacket has kind of taken on a whole thing. We love consumerism. Everyone, loves to have some merch and buy stuff. I think it was like $150 if you wanted to get like the actual Marty Supreme, jacket, which of course he gave out to NBA players and the Knicks colorway, and, gave them to people all across, celebrities, people that he was interested in kind of promoting the movie. It's been fun to follow. I'm curious if it, will end in an Oscar at the end of it, but it has gotten people to see the movie. It's made 70 million worldwide so far.
Yeah, it's pretty good, honestly, performance-wise too. Especially, it's kind of a niche genre film too. I don't know, it's just a safety sports movie, which I guess is its own thing from this year alone. But yeah, it's done pretty well, and I think definitely the strategic advertising and marketing has worked pretty well. I do love that Zoom call as well, where he has the block of orange that he wants.
Get kind the of blimps, man. The Statue of Liberty, get it orange.
Yeah. So I've enjoyed it. I think for sure, like you were saying too, he's feeding into kind of this Marty character from the movie a little bit. He had one interview with Gwyneth Paltrow where he's just like making fun of her and kind of clowning her the entire time that I saw today. So I do kind of enjoy it, but like you said, at the same time, I think he is almost getting to that point where it's getting a little bit annoying. So I don't know. Out of in my opinion, I don't know if he really does deserve kind of an Oscar win this year, but I think it would be fun to see him win, even if it's not my personal favorite.
He just turned 30, so he's officially,
Oh wow,
no longer in his 20s. So maybe that'll
that's
brush
crazy,
off that
actually.
youthful kind of twinge of he can't get there yet. If we look back, this time last year, he was doing the same shit for A Complete Unknown, promoting that movie around Christmas time, and then, dressing in various Bob Dylan fits on red carpets and being a little bit of a weirdo in that sort of way too. This is to another degree. It's not my favorite performance of the year, which we will do a whole episode, breaking down those kind of, our favorites later. And I don't think he is probably going to win the Oscar. He's very, very good in this movie. The ping pong stuff is impressive. The performance is impressive. But I do think there is almost like there's too much of a similarity between his own persona and this character, even though there are definitely differences in their emotionality and like their ability to, probably have normal social relationships, for example.
Their
But there is
morals.
like
I mean,
this that
yeah, just
ambition and fast talking nature where it doesn't feel as hard as A Complete Unknown. Like that to me was a more impressive performance from him because it was more out of, his normal type.
and I mean, yeah, the character, I mean, has its differences, obviously, like you were saying, but I feel like general personality, like his relationship with the bigger guy in the cast, who is just like a normal New Yorker guy who they cast. Like I feel like their relationship is just like so genuine, and it's just like they're not even acting in those moments. Like you said, Timmy is kind of playing himself at some parts in this movie, and other parts where he's kind of doing some morally ambiguous
Right.
stuff.
It's more
Obviously,
dickish and like
oh yeah,
abrasive and it's turned up, but the seed is from, it's there in his persona that we know now. And that's why the press tour is maybe harder for some people to understand as a bit and an extension of the character. Let's compare him to Leo, because that to me might be his, biggest competition in the Oscar race this year. Funny enough, it took Leo a very long time to win his Oscar. He finally, won it for The Revenant in 2016. So he was 42, I think, when he won that, born in 74. Here's Timmy at 30. Leo was nominated for the Oscar for The Aviator at 30. Like, is this his The Aviator equivalent? To me, it's kind of almost like The Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like The Wolf of Wall Street's an amazing performance, but it's an extension of the persona turning up to 100 degrees. It took Leo doing something a little bit more traditionally different to finally win his award with The Revenant. Kind of, crawling inside of a bear or whatever the fuck he was doing in the woods with Inari2.
in the woods. Yeah, I don't know. It is super early, I feel like, for a Leo comparison. But they're similar. I mean, I think Leo has probably given him like real world advice too about kind of the projects he picks and stuff like that. Staying out of big
No hard
franchises.
drugs, no superheroes. I think that's what he told him.
Yeah, yeah. It's a all-time quote. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Leo's just weird altogether too, because it did take him so long, to win that Oscar, even though I mean he probably deserved it a couple times in between. So Chalamet could be, on that similar path. Like you said, I feel like last year was maybe more of a robbery than anything that'll come this year. I think I was almost convinced that he was definitely going to win it last year. So to come back from that the next year and they just give it to him kind of right after that, I don't know. I think it would take a lot, and there's a lot of good performances. So it'll be close. He could win, but right now I just don't know if he will.
Maybe it'll be Ethan Hawke. Who knows?
Hey, I'm a Hawk guy. I would be down for that. I think he
He's
deserves.
trying. You want to talk about a press tour? This guy is hitting every podcast, every daytime talk show, every Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Like it's
Gotta do what you gotta do.
multiple
Yeah.
times in the last couple months he has been, which he's been promoting various different things. Blue Moon is an incredible performance from him, much more transformative from the regular Hawk. There's similarities there, but he's like playing a short guy who can't fuck anybody. So
I mean, that's probably he doesn't have to go too far from his personality for that, probably. But shout out to Hawkman. Sorry for that burn, but I think he
shout out
would
to
deserve.
Maya.
Yeah, shout out to Maya too. But I think that he deserves an Oscar win. I don't even know if he'll get nom this year, honestly. So we'll see. But I would love to see him win one. I think that would be super cool. Just, career retrospective wise. I think we were talking about the other day. I was kind of surprised that he hasn't won one, which is all the, critically acclaimed stuff that he's been in. So shout out to Hawkman, but it's not your year, buddy.
I think he did just announce on, I want to say the Today Show or some other similar fucking daytime NBC, whatever the fuck bullshit, where he was like, Richard Linklater's next movie is going to be our greatest one. I will be back here at 18 months to promote it. Just you wait. This is the movie we've been waiting for.
I sent you that TikTok yesterday.
Yeah,
you must not see it. Yeah.
Calling a shot.
That is really funny. Yeah. Hey, man, if you've got the confidence, he's like, I think he's literally saying like, this is one of the best movies ever made. So extreme hype job. I mean, it better be damn good, but he's
Today's Show. Yeah, there it is. In my
I thought it was Good Morning America possibly, but shout out Today. We appreciate that interview, but roll the clip now.
A little birdie tells me that you guys are working on number 10.
That's right. Everything has been preparation for what's to come. The 10th is going to be the best. We started.
That's
dreaming.
A bold statement.
I'm making it, man. I'm not even shy. I'm not even nervous about saying it. We've been thinking about this movie since about 1998. He's been thinking about it longer than that. He's had this dream for a long time in his head, and it's going to be good.
Well, I mean, you got to give us more than that. Like, what's giving?
All right. How about this? Personally, I think I have no doubt in saying it will be among the greatest films ever made.
Wow.
And I'll be back on your show in about 18 months to back it up.
Okay, so it's going to come out in 27.
You will finish it next year. So, yeah, 27.
Is it a period piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was double checking. I sent it to Mina at 5:48 p.m. last night. So I had seen it when you sent it to me at 9 o'clock. But
oh, wow. So you did see it before me.
We're both locked in on the fucking Hawk.
We're both just on movie TikTok, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe. Apparently the Today Show TikTok as well. Let's get back to Marty Supreme though. The Oscars a question mark. We'll see what happens. He's definitely getting nominated. It's kind of this perennial thing. He seems to own Christmas, whether it's with an A24 movie like this, whether a James Mangold music biopic with a complete unknown, or he's doing fucking IP prequel bullshit with Wonka. That's the only reason I think Dune 3 has to stay in the December slot next year. We can't pull it up because we need Timmy at Christmas.
I don't know. I think somebody has to move out of that slot 100%. And if anybody's going to move,
Doomsday, get the hell out of there.
But it's been pushed. It's been pushed already. So I think Dune, just move it up a month. Like, I don't know, or move it back a month. I don't think it matters, but I don't think you can release both of those movies on the same day and keep your job, I guess, in the industry. But
I think one of two things happens. One, I think it does move up, releases at Venice, or premieres at Venice, and then has like a October or November theatrical run. Or two, it does what they've done in the past and they push it to 2027. Everyone keeps forgetting what happened to Dune 2. They just fucking push that off. Also, Netflix coming in and who knows? I don't know. It's
a weirder story too. Like, I mean, it's not a straight continuation.
They're done filming it, but it could take post-production. It's, I don't want that to happen whatsoever. I mean, Avengers Doomsday, is that going to really be done? Probably not. They'll just release it anyways. Dune, they're going to want to get it right. So.
And it's Denis' last one in the franchise, I think, and he wants to go on and do other stuff. So I don't think he wants to get it pushed back. But I guess, that would give him time to go and do other stuff, to be fair, too. But yeah, I don't know. I would think it'll come out this year. I think, like you said, I think more than anything, they're probably just going to move it up a month or two. But I mean, Doomsday, I can use
Doomsday.
It's like an N and an M right back to back. But I mean, that'd be a dope double feature. Doomsday is probably like 3 hours, to be fair. They're probably both 3 hours. It'd be a long one, but it'd be a fun one.
I'm always down for a double feature. We're gonna talk more double features later in the episode.
True.
And maybe Timmy will win his Oscar for Dune 3. Probably not.
I'm down. Watch out for Anya Taylor-Joy supporting nom. Calling it now.
I like that.
Going back to Marty Supreme in general too. Like, for me, I really enjoyed several things about this movie, but I didn't really like once they kind of disconnected from the pong, I'll call it, the ping pong. I think like the beginning was pretty, encapsulating of, just the vibe that you see Marty play with against these people and just the way he kind of interacts with everybody in the competition, I thought was really interesting. His relationship with that one guy who's like help running it. But once we get past, the tournament and the conclusion of that, it really just turns into like a completely different movie. It's like it's a Safdie movie. I mean, it's what's the fucking Sailor movie called, dude? Jesus fucking
Uncut
Christ.
Gems.
Yeah, it's like fucking Uncut Gems. How can I forget that movie? Because I mean everybody says every movie is like that. But this movie really is obviously coming from the same director. So I don't know. Me personally, I'm a big sports movie guy, so I kind of just wanted to see that on its way through. But I don't know. I don't know which one of us likes this movie more, honestly. I think we're both just like we like it, but it's not like amazing, you know.
I like it a lot. I love Timmy a lot. I don't love Safdie movies necessarily. Uncut
Right.
Gems is not one that resonates with me a ton. I'm not a huge fan of Good Time. This
True.
is to me my favorite of all the iterations. We've talked Smashing Machine already earlier this year on the pod, which is kind of a whole different thing. But it's the anxiety inducing digging a hole for yourself, making the decision that is like antithetical to what I would personally make at every single turn. I just find so frustrating. And I'm not saying that like I need my character to be 100% relatable or I need my character to make every single decision correctly. It's just when it's like the complete opposite, I find it just frustrating to watch. This one had enough of the charm and a really fun supporting cast of, you know, kind of unique New York type people and kind of just the unique world of ping pong at its core that I was interested in, like you said. And then when it gets away from that stuff, I do find it less appealing to me. You know, it's not in my top 5. It's not really in my top 10, but I still think it's like a really solid movie. There's a lot of shocking stuff in this, a lot of shocking moments. Some stuff that is almost maybe like, okay, this is too much, or is this really necessary? But it does, I feel like, end more positively than an Uncut Gems, which I appreciate. That movie's very shocking and like, not to spoil it, but like a very negative way in the end. This one, at least,
Well, depends how you
mostly
interpret
is
it.
positive for our character. You know, he does get kind of what he wants.
Yeah, I mean the ending I think is you know, it's pretty moving. Like it's a solid ending, I think, especially after the journey like, you know, you've been along with this character for the last, you know, however many, you know, it's basically a year almost, I think, combined. But yeah, I think it does have that emotional ending that, you know, a good time or you know, Uncut Gems doesn't really have, you know, the positivity that this movie has. So I think that's definitely something unique about it. I would say honestly, out of those 3 movies, that I do really lump them all together. I think they're just similar stylistically. Obviously, this is probably my least favorite of that 3. So, like I said, I mean, you were saying too, like the character just making bad decisions. Um, the one and I guess the whole subplot that just stands out to me is like this whole dog subplot.
Yeah, and a lot of people have talked about that.
It's kicked off by him like bathing in this bath that like the room was specifically given to him because like the bath didn't work. It's just like I don't understand like how stupid you can get. So I didn't even realize that was a Penner as well. Penn Jillette. So I thought that was weird, but I didn't really like anything. I feel like in that's you know second act ish.
It's funny you call him Pinner because of the guy from Survivor, but it's just
Yeah.
Penn and Teller.
I was like, I got some of that right, but his name's Penn Jillette, I think.
Yeah,
He was on
Penn Jillette.
Celebrity Apprentice. Shout out to that show.
Right. A lot of great things came from that one.
What's Penn doing in this movie? I didn't even know it was him till the credits rolled.
Kevin Garnett, not the first person you would assume to be a great actor.
True.
Even Adam Sandler, you wouldn't necessarily always say, give me great, you know, dramatic performance. Obviously,
he's a great
dramatic
career,
actor,
yeah.
You know, but like the Safdies are able to, and Josh Safdie, I guess in particular here, are kind of able to pull real life people, real world characters. What is that guy's name? His fucking Twitter handle is Patrick Ewing, but that's what is his name?
I don't know.
The guy you were talking, his friend,
which I think he is really good too. His friend, I thought he has a genuine performance. I feel like that is the one person in the
Luke
movie.
Manley. Shout out to Luke Manley.
Luke.
Luke. He's just a fucking New York kind of, you know, a little Barstooly adjacent, which I don't love, but you know, a New York kind of comedian, public figure, sports fan guy who just makes dumb videos and has gotten famous for whatever. And you've got Kevin O'Leary, who's, you know, one of the worst rich people in the world. You know, Canada's pissed that he's in this movie, and I understand that, but like, he's tapping into a thing that only like a real great director, a real amazing casting agent is able to like see beyond who they really are and understand that they'd be amazing in this. Gwyneth, who hasn't, been in a lot of great, movies or in real acting performances in a long time. Even Tyler, the Creator, like I think has a strong personality that fits well into what this movie is trying to portray.
Yeah, put Tyler the Creator in more movies. I was looking at his other movies on Letterboxd, and he's not really in anything. And I thought he was actually really good in this. Like his little side plot, with the hustle storyline with Tyler the Creator. I thought that was one of my favorite, scenes in parts of the movie. So I thought he was really fun. And yeah, the guy from Shark Tank, it is good casting. Like it's just like you need this, a businessman asshole in that role. Like he doesn't really have to do anything, other than what he has on Shark Tank. I guess other than, one of the last scenes that he's in, which is kind of weird. Because he's not really in any movies either, obviously. It was a funny thing on set of like Kevin O'Leary was doing a scene and they did like 20 takes. And he said to Safdie, he's like, all right, like we're good, we've done enough. And Safdie's like, it's not how it works here, bro. like we're rolling another one right now. So I just think like it's a fun environment of bringing in several different people who like aren't used to the movie making process as well. I think you probably just get like unique and some different stuff than usual. So I like that idea from Safdie of kind of bringing in, some crazy no names, which made it fun.
And sometimes we just see the same fucking actors on screen. It's like the same faces, the same, polished, fucking surgically augmented faces seen over and over. And it's like, these are real people.
Yeah, I do like that aspect of it. And I think it does lead into just like the story and the message of the movie too, like Marty comes from nowhere, but you can still be one of the best, table tennis players of all time if you have, the right drive and, the right gravitas and stuff. So I think it plays into the themes, which is fun too. But I want to say with Gwyneth, I don't know. I didn't really like her character, or I guess really her performance in general. But I thought Odessa, whatever her last name is, was pretty solid. How do you pronounce it?
Zion?
Pazion? Sure.
Zion.
I heard it, but yeah, she was good. She was definitely better than Gwyneth, I thought. But I feel like you could have just cut out the entire Gwyneth, subplot. It doesn't really take anything away. It's just like, his hopes got crushed one more time because he was going to get her jewelry, and they fucked a few times. Like, okay, cool. You could have cut that.
You got to have that with the Kevin O'Leary character stuff.
But there's no big blow up where he finds out or anything like that either, right? There's no like big resolution.
No, but I think that adds a lot of, there's an interesting subtext to the final scene between him and Timmy Shot. Like it adds this layer of like something the audience is aware of that not everyone is, but maybe he is a little bit like he is a guy who kind of knows what the fuck's going on. And a lot of
I don't really,
I
don't love that scene either, honestly. Like it's just like, and that's a Safdie
power dynamics, man, and
making you uncomfortable. But I don't know.
Set in the 1950s about a Jewish American who is battling a Japanese guy, like, and is trying to perform on the world stage post World War II. Like, there's a lot of interesting ideas. This movie doesn't really seem as interested in that stuff, but then it'll play out and have scenes like the honey scene, which, not to spoil anything, like you'll know if you've seen the movie what I'm talking about, where it's like, that's such a cool and interesting idea. It's like, well, why aren't you just making the movie about that guy? Like, why, this is, you're really just taking a diversion, a detour to be a little bit shocking. You're not actually saying anything. Like, I don't like that because I think it's a little bit manipulative of people's emotions. Like, you're telling this intense story in the context of a scene just to get a reaction out of a theater, I think, more than anything.
I kind of like that scene because it's so random and it's a different touch of emotion. Like, I feel like with that, and some people in my theater too, like, didn't know how to react with that. Like, there was like a little bit of laughter, I feel like, when that happened. But when I saw it happen, I was like, oh shit. Like, you just kind of brought in an emotion on that this movie wasn't really, I wasn't expecting from this movie, honestly. And then they kind of go back to it at the end, I feel like, of, just making it more relatable to these characters who are telling these stories, I guess. But so I did kind of like that, even though it was out of place. And yeah, going back to what you're saying too, like, it's funny because we've been talking about this movie for a little bit. We haven't talked about ping pong at all, really. I talked about ping pong in like 2 seconds at the beginning.
It's got like two big sequences,
Yeah, this movie doesn't care about ping pong, which that kind of pisses me off. The guy who's playing Endo, in real life, he is a table tennis player and he's also deaf. Nice. So I thought that was super cool, of kind of that inclusion. And I actually thought he was good too. And another thing as well, just I feel like I'm saying a lot of stuff that maybe is not about the movie specifically, just about stuff I've seen about it. But I saw another thing about like the real life, Marty guy and his battle of changing styles in the ping pong world. So it's kind of loosely based off of like, they talk about the new paddle a little bit. Basically, in real life, the Japanese, invented this new paddle, and Marty was champion before that. But when this new paddle came out, he sucked. So he had to adapt, and he turned into a shit talker. And then he went on to win like a ton more ping pong, world championships or whatever. So I feel like if we just actually focus on that story, I would have been
right. And like that, there's a nugget of that here where they mention it, and it's like they don't even really get into it. It's like, why is the paddle? No. I did also find some of that stuff afterwards. It's interesting that that's not the focus at all.
And again, that's coming from just me personally of like, I'd just rather seen like a really cool sports movie. And I think we did get that. But same thing with like the ping pong balls and the orange. They're really not that important to kind of the story. It's definitely symbolic, showing kind of the last straw of friendship maybe that he has, in the world. But I just wish it was kind of more focused on that versus, him doing Gwyneth.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a little bit of that in the movie, though, Kody. Come on.
I mean, it's the opening though. Like, also, shout out to the song choices. Forever Young, during the impregnation scene. I mean, what else do you call it, really? And then the ending.
Forever
song
Young,
too.
solid, good title drop. I got to give credit. Look Who's Talking. Amy Heckerling did it first. Did the sperm to the egg title sequence.
Okay, I haven't seen
it. But this movie has a lot of fun stuff, and it is, very unique. Like, nobody else is making movies like this. Safdie split up. Maybe they'll get back together. Who knows? But a big collaborator for Josh Safdie is Ronald Bronstein, and he's the co-writer on this movie. He's co-writer on Uncut Gems. They co-edited Uncut Gems in this movie together. Also interesting enough, his wife, Mary Bronstein, is the director of If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. So kind of a big year for their family with
That's
movies in A24. But, maybe it's not so much a Safdie brothers thing. Maybe it's a Josh Safdie and Ronald Bronstein thing.
Maybe it's just Ronnie. Yeah, we need to learn more about him. That is cool. I mean, I feel like for those movies you just mentioned, like those are pretty dang good ones to get paired up to kind of make two movies. So maybe put that guy on my watch list. We shout out Forever Young. I mean, shout out Everybody Wants to Rule the World as well. Like the soundtrack overall too, and the sound design. I thought with the ping pong stuff, it was definitely a standout. So kind of normal for A24. I feel like they do a good job with their soundtracks and their needle drops. But I love both those songs, Forever Young and Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I mean, that was a plus half a star for me. So that's where they made the money.
We started the conversation by kind of mentioning how much the movie has made at the box office. It's hit about 70 million. And I feel like the general reaction around the film world, around reporting, has been amazing. Huge success for A24. One of their biggest movies ever. Like, this is so awesome. And 100% it is. Like, it's great. It had a budget of $70 million. Like, we're maybe breaking even, and Sinners, which is like a comparable movie, had a similar budget, made a lot fucking more money. People's instant reaction was, oh, this is a huge failure. And obviously, like, Warner Brothers, a studio movie versus an A24, like, the expectations are different. But when the price points are the same, why, what is the difference other than, everyone wants to fucking be mad when a black filmmaker is having success, right? And a lot of, people have, I think, specifically clown Variety for, their reporting around it. But it is interesting to like see the comparisons between like this movie, which is not going to make as much as Sinners, nowhere near what Sinners ended up doing, is being seen as a success when,
I think it is a little bit of studio game. And with all these reporting, I mean, everybody's controlled by everybody. So, but yeah, I mean, like you said, I think both of those should be seen as successes, really. Honestly, before this movie came out, I probably would have predicted it would definitely not make that much. I probably would have said like 45 mil or something. I think it's probably on pace for maybe a hundo, probably a little bit less, maybe 85,
maybe it'll get there. It'll be interesting to see if it crosses it.
But that's a good run for an A24 movie, at the beginning of the year, kind of that turnover period. So I would, and obviously Sinners, I mean, we'll talk about that later as well. But My theater was definitely more packed for Sinners. I don't know. I didn't see this like opening night or anything, but I feel like I think a lot more people went and saw Sinners, but maybe because it's out of theaters, so hard to judge.
Yeah, I mean, Sinners made like $364 million worldwide. Marty Supreme currently sits at 7 overall on the A24 highest
Mm,
grossing films list.
nice.
Think you can name the 6 that are ahead of it?
Ooh, maybe A24 moneymakers. I mean, everything, everywhere.
4 are from the 2020s, and then we have like 2 older ones.
Is everything everywhere on there?
Yep, that is the highest grossing of all time.
Okay, I would hope so.
$144 million.
Okay, newer stuff. A24. They have big hits, right? Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems is less than this movie. 15th overall.
Wow, that's bullshit.
We got a 2025 release.
2025. Oh man, I feel like I definitely saw it.
Oh yeah.
Dude, there's actually
a couple superheroes in it.
There's so many.
Madam Webb,
Materialists,
Johnny Torch.
I didn't really enjoy that movie that much, but it was okay.
Then we got a 2024 release from Alex.
It's just too soon. Oh, Civil War? No.
Yeah, Civil War, second highest grossing one of all time, $127 million.
Second? What the fuck? Oh, I didn't think that movie did that well. Hey, you put Civil War on any movie, it's gonna go crazy, I guess. But wow, that's why people were pissed. Everybody went. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Good for Garland.
Number 3 was Materials, and then 4 is a horror film from 2023. Oh, I know one you like.
Talk to Me.
Yep,
it's a good movie.
Good pull. And then 5 is from 2018, another horror movie that I think you also enjoy.
Yeah, Hereditary. That would have been.
Yep.
One of my guesses. And what's the Florence Pugh one called?
Midsommar.
Yeah. Is that on there?
That's 16 overall. Not as
appreciated. Just missed.
Number 6 is a 2017 film directed by Greta Gerwig.
Oh, Lady Bird.
Moonlight is 8. Baby Girl is 9. Heretic is 10.
Wow, Heretic. Wow, okay. Baby Girl, I turned on for 5 minutes and then I never finished it. So I couldn't get past the first scene. But
you probably shouldn't say that because it seems like you probably had to like go leave the room to take care of yourself. And I don't want anybody to assume that you got 5 minutes into Baby Girl and couldn't keep going after that.
Well, if that was the case, wouldn't I want to watch it multiple times? I don't know. But
maybe you've seen the first 5 minutes a lot of times, but I
haven't memorized after that. Have you seen that?
I have, and it will come up later in the episode. So let's save it, the Baby Girl talk for that.
So you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's weird.
Speaking of that, Kody, let's talk about movies we watched in 2025. Hello and welcome back to Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast, the show where 2 former roommates talk about 2025 at the movies. So we're not going to be doing, our favorites of 2025. We'll do a quick top 5 at the end, I think. But we're going to, wait for Oscar nominations to come out, get a little bit closer to the awards season, because the beauty of, fucking movies is that 2025 releases sometimes don't actually come out till February, for example. So, we got to figure, wait and, catch up on some stuff. But we will do a full breakdown episode. Today, we're just going to be talking about some of our favorite watches of 2025. What did we watch in 2025? How did we watch things? And we're going to start with just kind of, what did you feel about 2024? Was it a good year in movies?
Oh, I think it was, personally. I think, and we had this debate last year too of which one was better, 23 or 24. But I think 25 was pretty good overall. I didn't have like crazy high expectations for it, I feel like. But I feel like the majority of, especially of what I went and saw in theaters, I did, I didn't dislike a ton of stuff that I went and saw in theaters. I think, Wicked for Good and, there's one other stink I can't remember, but Tron Ares, of course. Jesus Christ. I don't know why we saw that. But shut up, mini review. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun year overall. I mean, you had a lot of different stuff too. Horror was, a lot of stuff came out this year that I liked a lot more, than even like the past like 5 years, I feel like. So Super high on that. A lot of fun, directors, getting one-offs, obviously. One Battle, Sinners, even Superman. Heck, like I love to see James Gunn work. So I think overall solid. Maybe Oscar wise, not the strongest. Probably because I haven't seen half the Best Picture noms yet. But yeah, I had a fun 2025. What do you read on the year as a whole?
I really enjoyed it. I think it was definitely a better movie year than last year. It started, I think, a little bit weak for me where I was worrisome, but I think in the last couple months, as it always happens, some movies that really I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did came out and surprised me. And I think in that like mid 4-star, like I really like this movie. It's not amazing. There's a lot of movies like that. There's a couple movies that I love. There's not a lot of stuff that I like really, really disliked this year. And maybe that's, to me, choosing better. But I found overall
you liked Tron Ares, right?
I thought it was fine. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I like a Tron movie. I like a light bike. They were in the real world.
You're a Leto head. We know. It's all good.
9 Inch Nails, man. What are you talking about? What's wrong with that? Solid year, though. A lot of twin performances, a lot of twin movies. That I feel like was a big theme that we identified pretty early. And that continued to pop up throughout the year. Mickey 17, I think, being the most obvious one, of course. But I had a lot of fun in 2025. I'm pretty excited for 2026 because there's, I think, a lot of good stuff, and even more, I think, of like the blockbustery franchise films are actually more stuff that I'm interested than I was last year. Like, when it's like Mission Impossible, Fantastic Four, Superman, like none of that I was super excited for. Next year, I think there's more stuff that is going to speak to me directly with, The Odyssey and Dune 3 and heck, even like a new Spider-Man movie I'm excited about.
Yeah. I think that is a good point of maybe a weak spot was, the big budget action movies a little bit. I think Predator Badlands filled that hole a little bit. And Superman was good, I think, for sure. But like I said, I mean, Marvel kind of did nothing this year. Just some other action in general kind of disappointed, like The Running Man. I didn't think it was that good. Captain America, Brave New World, that came out this year.
There was a Red Hulk,
which I didn't really enjoy personally. Love me some Mackie, but yeah, I think, comic book wise, there's definitely a lot more stuff obviously coming out this year that I'm pretty hyped for. Shout out Charles Xavier first off, but yeah, that was definitely a weak point.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got like a bad John Wick spinoff. Jurassic World coming back was not great.
ScarJo, man, I thought she was box office gold anywhere, honestly, but yeah, that was a tough one.
And even like the highest girl, I liked the Zootopia movie. Lilo and Stitch, bad. Avatar, my favorite Avatar, but I'm not a big Avatar guy, so I wasn't super excited for that.
How is that doing box office? I think it crossed $1 billion already, didn't it? It was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll make $2 billion. That'll be an interesting question, but it's doing well. I mean, it's an Avatar film.
Well, it's cool to see too, like a lot of movies doing really, really well at the box office. Like Sinners, that explosion, I feel like came out of nowhere, at least in my perspective.
Increase in the box office from the year prior. We're still not quite to 2019 numbers, but we're slowly increasing.
We're going back. And I mean, the way Stranger Things kind of performed recently, at theaters, I feel like theaters are kind of, crawling back a little bit. So love to see that always. And we'll talk about goals, but definitely one of my goals is just going to the theater, more in general. And I think a lot of people are doing the same, which is cool.
Yeah, great stuff for theaters happening with the Netflix deal. Of course, they're not going to be dead at all in a year's time.
We forgot about that. I saw they declined Paramount's like 10th bid or something. 8th bid. Not good enough, Paramount. More money.
Keep trying.
Going up.
All right, Kody, let's take a look at our stats pages on Letterboxd for what are we watched this year. And I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen. Let's do it. I got yours up right here. We'll start looking at 2025. Talk us through it. What do you see?
I've only had Letterboxd, I think, for like 5 years now, technically. And I've only probably used it, religiously for like the last 3 years or so. So this year was a career high year for me. I ended up at 329 entries, and then out of that 329, I had 315 reviews. That was one of my goals kind of going in, is just leave something, review-wise on everything, even if it is like a one-line stupid thing. I don't know. I just kind of like that snapshot in time of, a dumb joke I'm thinking, when watching the movie. So happy that I was able to continue that. And that added up to 625 and a half hours. So pretty solid stats, I think, compared to my 2024, which I was under 300. So I broke that threshold. And yeah, I was only at 282. Shout out Korbin, quick on the mouse here. But yeah, and I think too, just looking at my favorites from the year, kind of like you said, Korbin, there was so much that was just like 4 stars. Like there was so much that I just enjoyed in general. Obviously, we won't get to kind of talk about all of them today, but just like really solid, I think, across the board.
This was same as you, my most watched year I've ever had. I think we both say it's our most watched year while having Letterbox, but it's also like 100% the most movies we've ever watched, because
For sure.
we were not watching as many movies, except for, maybe when I was a very, very small child and if I was just stuck in front of a screen. But even then, I don't know. I saw 417 films this year and 362 reviews. So similarly, I definitely tried to leave at least some thoughts on most things. I'm really bad where I wait a couple days sometimes to review stuff, but a lot of that comes down to the fact that I want to try and formulate my thoughts a little bit, or at least get a good idea of what I feel about it. And then that was 796.7 hours. So close. I really could have gotten to the 800 mark if I just tried a little bit harder, but unfortunate.
One more movie, really, and you were there. So yeah,
I know, close. Right? One more. If I just watched Avatar one more time.
Yeah. Damn you, James Cameron. Should have pulled him in the theater.
All right, Kody. By week, let's look at this. What's going on here in March 31st to April 6th? I think is your most watched week. 16 movies.
That is impressive.
Banging them out.
So basically, too, I mean, and you can definitely see the waves in my graph throughout the year, just because, like, at different time periods, if there's sports going on, my movie watching does go down a little bit. So specifically during, like, the February, March period, where it's, like, prime college basketball, those are the dog days. And then right when that big point comes up, I think that's like the first week after the tournament of the first weekend. So
this is like national championship week, basically.
Yes, right? Like the full week before, there's nothing going on, so I'm just watching movies. So that's that little slimmer. But yeah, other than that, I mean, and then NFL season, you can see at the end of the year too. But tried to stay somewhat consistent. I mean, the goal was pretty much 7 a week, I think, going into the year, 1 a day, which obviously you can double and triple up, for days to make up for it. But I ended up at 6.3 per week. So pretty decent. And then, yeah, 27 a month. So overall, yeah, my most watched day, funny enough, was Monday. It's always a, long day after work. Always putting on a movie, 100%. Have to wind down after that. But that is fun. And Wednesday is a weird one too, because that's Survivor Day. But that's a pretty common one, evidently. So no Survivor, instant movie going on.
And on Saturdays, you're going out, not seeing movies, partying it up, or watching college football or whatever,
Yeah, or just watching sports. But yeah, not a big weekend guy, more of a weekday kind of guy, I think, which is fun.
The thing I'm most proud of looking at this, Kody, not a single week where you didn't watch anything. There's one here. Look, I think this is Thanksgiving week. I get it. You got one over here in the summer, but getting at least one in, I think is.
I need better Thanksgiving movies, because I just watch a bunch of TV for Thanksgiving, I feel like. So other than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, send me suggestions, because I need them.
All right. And then my graph definitely paints a very interesting story about my employment status at various points. Especially, previously I was working in baseball. So when you see we get to like the mid-March, this is when I was working like 50-hour weeks, basically. So not as a lot of movie watching. And then, I was working a little bit less. Summertime hits, a little bit more free time, able to see some more stuff. At the beginning of the year, before the baseball season had started, I was, watching a lot more stuff. And then I moved to Chicago. I left that job right at the beginning of September. You can see in September, I literally was kind of just depressed and not watching a lot of stuff and new to the city in Chicago and trying to move and pack and find a job and all that shit. And then finally, I figured things out here a little bit and had the Chicago Film Festival. So I had some crazy weeks in October and just kind of kept that decently rolling through to the end of the year. I think at this point in the year, I was probably not going to cross 400, and then I just
Yeah.
finished very strong.
Oh, that peak was impressive. 18, 16, 17, 16 in 4 weeks in a row. Yeah, that's where it's at.
But yeah, same thing for me. You know, I did have 1 week here. This was literally the week right before I moved, where I
Oh,
only
nice.
watched 1 movie. A lot of
What movie was
packing
it?
up my entire apartment.
What movie was it? Click on it. What was the oneer?
Rope.
Ralph. Shout out, Ralph. I haven't seen it, but I might have to watch it.
Alfred Hitchcock, man.
Shout out. Yeah.
And then right when I moved, Love Jones, Francis Ha, Breakfast
Francis Ha.
Club.
That's a great early watch in Chicago. I feel like Francis Ha. That's a fun one.
Well, and to tell you the truth, we can look here. I started it right before I moved, and
wow,
it took me a couple days to finish just because of everything. But
it's emotional, actually. Yeah, respect.
But for me, Friday actually my most. I mean, close with Monday.
Okay. Very close.
You know, spread out. The thing with Friday is I feel like, especially even now, you know, go see a movie in the morning on a Friday. There's a lot more like early showings. So if I'm working, I could still get something in. And then also like I oftentimes didn't have weekends off. So, you know, I would be, you know, just a lot more through the week watching, I think, for me throughout the year.
I feel like Friday vibes at the theater is elite as well. I always like going on Fridays.
All right, Kody, let's look at your milestones. Didn't get to 400 or anything. So first film, last film. Let's talk about this. We actually both have the same last film, but we'll get there.
Of course. Yeah, first film was Blitz, January 4th. Supposed to be an Oscar contender. So I was checking it out, you know, going through that binge. Didn't end up being very well, unfortunately. Kid performer, not good. Korbin knows about that. And then, so obviously it gives you 50 milestones. My 50th milestone was Jackie Brown in February. Really good watch, actually. I do like that movie. Underrated Tarantino, even though he's a douche. My 100th movie of the year milestone was Predator 2. Really fun one to add to the list. Shout out Danny Glover, the boy. I know your name. Trust it. And then number 150 of the year for me was actually The Longest Yard. Of course, the Adam Sandler version. And that was in July. So it was pretty quick, actually. 100 to 150. Well, actually, no, that was actually slower.
2 months.
Yeah, it was about.
You got like 3 months and then 2 months and then.
So we were pacing it well, and then I'll talk about my Sandler binge later. But yeah, that was a big part of it. So I'm glad he was at 150 there.
You had a month, and you did 50 from 150 to 200 was 1 month exactly. So that was pretty good.
So that was quick. And then 200th milestone was Freaky Friday, which was actually my first ever watch of that. So that was fun. Soundtrack was banging. To 250, going to September, the end of September. Cabin in the Woods was my 250th movie. Really like that. That was a part of Carpenter. That was a part of Carpentober, which is a tongue twister, but one of my personal favorites that was just thrown out as a wild card. So I love that was included. And then the record-breaking 300 turned out to be Dodgeball and Underdog Story. So shout out Ben Stiller. You're in the record books finally. Your snake dance will live on forever. And that movie's okay, but not a big fan. And then my last film of the year, it was on the last day of the year. It was TMNT 2, Secret of Views. And I did watch it actually with Corbino. So one of our few movies watched this year, honestly. I don't know if we had a ton others. So it was really fun to end the year with Secret of the Use, because I mean it's just so much fun, and I had a good time watching it. So
it was also my last film watched, of course, because we both watched it at I think we finished it at 9 p.m. on New Year's Eve. My first film was Beauty and the Beast, the live action version, which Mina and I watched on New Year's Day of 2025.
Sounds fun.
It was not too bad. You know, I don't mind that one. In the whole scheme of the live action versions, I think that is one of the better ones. Maybe the best.
Be our guest. What about Josh Gad, though? I mean,
mostly because The Lion King is good. But yeah, Josh Gad, not great. You know, then we had a gay moment in a Disney movie, but didn't actually give us anything that was anywhere close to real people having emotions or feelings. Sure, Disney, we get it. My 50th watch of the year was Companion, which I know was a movie that you were riding for big time. Was on your fantasy team. Enjoyed that one for sure. Maybe a little bit too obvious, but fun movie. And Sophie Thatcher, big fan. Yeah, exactly. My 100th movie was Vampire, which is 1932
Ooh.
Vampire, silent film. In comparison to Nosferatu, which is also early 30s, the original black and white version, I much prefer Vampire. Ton of style, a lot of fun shadow work, just a kind of a creepy gothic horror, early film. My 150th in May was Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope, the original. Number 200, I saw Inherent Vice in the theater, I think on
Ooh.
70 millimeter, which was a fun experience. Very confusing movie. Joaquin Phoenix basically high the entire time.
Huh.
Kind of feels like you are the entire time watching it. A little bit hard to understand what is going on, but welcome to noirs, right?
I get that a lot.
250th watch was Conjuring Last Rites. I enjoyed it overall. Not the best in the Conjuring franchise by any means, but an okay conclusion or whatever to the Warren stories. A lot of people hated it. I thought it was fine.
In theaters again. I love that.
In theaters again. Number 300 was Sinister, which of course we talked about for the podcast. We did a little Sinister Black Phone 2 double feature a couple months ago, back in October. Go listen to that. 350th in November. So this is again we were at 300 in October, so we're banging them out the last couple months. 350th was November 11th with Ready Player One, which I thought was abhorrent. Really, just one of Spielberg's weakest films, in my opinion.
It's okay.
And then 400th, another episode we did, Brick. I watched as my 400 movie, which I forgot to mention on the episode. I meant to say, hey,
it's true. Should have brought that up. That is a banger though. Banging list, like you said though. I mean, from 250 to to the end there, maybe like 4 months, and you went through like over 150 to 200 movies, which is crazy.
All right, Kody, let's take a look at your most watch actors and directors. You don't have to go through the whole list, but
yeah,
32 Adam Sandler films. What's going on?
My list is mostly Sandler, and then just the Sandler scrubs alongside him. Yeah, that's a lot of flex. 32 in 1 year for Adam Sandler. I don't think I'll ever watch that many Adam Sandler movies in 1 year ever again. But went all out for Sandler Summer, which shout out to the Rough Cut retrospective. If for some reason you've not gone and listened to my episode on their pod, talking about Sandler, go check that out because I just had a lot of fun personally. But yeah, I mean, like I said, pretty much in a 2-month span, I tried to watch as many Sandler movies as I could. And then, all the other clowns that he works with, this Alan Covert guy, watched 16, Jonathan Lufgram. I can't say his name, but I know who he is because he's in every Adam Sandler movie. And also,
I was looking here, like basically other than John Ratzenberger and I guess Defoe,
and
Defoe. These are all Sandler contemporaries.
Yeah. I think every single one. Sam Jackson sneaking in with 9 down at the bottom. But yeah, I mean, the other two main ones were Defoe, which I did start a list with him this year. So I tried to watch, I mean, a pretty decent amount of his stuff that I hadn't logged yet. And then, I mean, with Ratzenberger, I did a little Pixar binge. That was at the beginning of the year, actually. I almost forget about that because I didn't finish all of the, I haven't even watched Elio this year, which is a big miss for me. But yeah, that was a fun watch too. I mean, Ratzenberger, he's basically in every single Pixar movie. And I had a really fun time kind of going through my favorites through there. And Steve Buscemi, I mean, he's definitely with the Adam Sandler gang, but there are a few stragglers. So yeah, mine was mostly, Sandler related. Oh, Con Air and Reservoir Dogs. Shout out.
King of Staten Island, Pulp Fiction.
We should do an episode on Con Air. I think that'd be so fun. But but yeah, I think I'll be more excited for next year just because the Sandler crew will be non-existent. But it was a fun year.
It didn't completely infect your director. We almost got that with your second.
We got Dukin, yeah. Which, go watch our Grown Ups episode. I think I give him pretty high praises there. But my top director of the year was Sam Raimi. Interesting enough, with 8 films, and he's done some weird crap. Honestly, I watched the Evil Dead franchise, all 3 of those, which was massive. But yeah, he did For the Love of the Game. Spider-Man 3 is really bad. I did rewatch Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness as well. So Evil Dead helps out there, but I do like Raimi as a director, and I am excited for Send Help. So I like that he's number 1. I did watch a good amount of Spielberg films too this year. I saw Jaws for the first time, Saving Private Ryan for the first time. The one with Tom Cruise for the first time, Minority Report. I thought that was okay. Oh, and Schindler's List. Did I say that? I don't think so. Talk about that movie later, but talk about a couple of those movies later. But yeah, I feel like with Spielberg, he's done so much. And I hadn't seen all of like his main stuff. So I'm trying. I think that would be a fun goal that I didn't write down for this year is to finish up his filmography because there is so much to it. But yeah, also had 5 Carpenter movies, 4 Ryan Johnson, and 4 J.J. Abrams. So we can all be friends here on Kody's Letterboxd. Ryan, JJ, the whole crew. So had Trachtenberg as well, Derrickson, a lot of 4s. I think I didn't really dive as much into a career as I did for a director, for what I did for Sandler. So I think that would be a fun thing to do as well. As like I said, with Spielberg or somebody similar with that, to just go through their entire filmography versus a specific actor.
Spielberg's a guy who's hard to not clog up because he has made a ton of kind of totemic, culturally defining films. I think he's directed like 30 some overall too. So
yeah,
it would be tough.
It'd be fun though.
All right, for me, my Mission Impossible binge is infecting my top actors a little bit here, with Tom Cruise at number 12. But for the record, it wasn't only Mission Impossible. We did get a little Magnolia, Little Edge of Tomorrow, Few Good Men,
Great
and of
movie.
course, Eyes Wide Shut, the best Christmas movie to wrap things up.
Ving,
and then of course,
Ving with 11 is crazy. Did you watch Pulp Fiction or what else is he in? Oh,
Lilo and Stitch, of course, Bubbles, and then Guardians Volume 2,
and
Wild Robot, and The Instigators.
Who's he in The Wild Robot? Huh? I didn't know he was in that. That's cool.
Probably a tree or something. I don't know, man. He plays something.
Right. He's probably an animal, for being honest. So.
Keanu, number 3 at 10. The Ballerina is one of those for sure. Oh, yeah. We watched the Matrix quadrilogy.
Oh, that's right.
Of course, Constantine.
And Sonic 3.
The film Keanu, of course. The cat one, which we'll talk more about later.
Harry Dean Stanton,
and then you're going to see some Lynch people. Harry Dean Stanton and Laura Dern. Both because of him for sure. Fishburne because of the Matrix. Samuel at 8. Sebastian Stan at 7 is kind of surprising.
That's solid.
I did do a little MCU watching.
Gotcha. Logan Lucky, The Martian, yeah. He's always good in supporting roles, I feel like.
But yeah, that's mostly that. Hugo Weaving there, of course, as well because of Matrix, And then you're gonna see that as well in my directors when we get to the Wachowskis. But my most watched director was David Lynch with 8 films. I completed his feature film filmography this year, finishing it with Lost Highway. And I watched most of them for the first time this year. There was a couple that I caught at the end of 24. Steve McQueen, who in February I did a binge of his limited series that was basically like he made 5 movies called Small Acts, where each one is its individual story. And then also I watched the Michael Fassbender movie Shame to finish out the year, which is about a guy jerking off a lot. Don John vibes, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Carpenter, of course, Carpentober we hit. Spielberg, 5 films. PTA. I tried to see a couple of the ones I hadn't. Lana Wachowski. I watched Bound for the first time as well, on top of the 4 Matrix movies that she directed. Bound rules. If you haven't seen that one yet, Kody,
oh wow,
you gotta watch that. Miyazaki, watched a couple of his for the first time this year. Totoro and Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle, plus a couple other Ghiblis that he didn't direct as well. So if we looked at writers, he'd probably be at the top. Ryan Johnson, Scott Derrickson, James Gunn. What am I twinning you? Amir Heckling, Look Who's Talking. It's there.
Oh, there we go. Gotcha.
Made the list.
I didn't make that connection to her. Look Who's Talking is the same rating as Clueless. That's crazy. That's wild.
All good movies. Yeah. Writers David Lynch, Steve McQueen, Miyazaki 5.
There you go. Christopher Corey right behind him.
All right, and then the last thing I want to look at, which I do believe, since you are a patron as well, we can see rated higher than average and rated lower than average. What are the movies that you love more than the average Letterboxd user, and what are the ones that you just don't understand?
You've listened to the pod before. I don't think some of these will be super surprising, but my first one is Happy Gilmore. I gave it 5 stars. Only an average rating of 3.4, which is
Feels
kind of
high.
embarrassing, honestly. No, should be at least 4. My second one, another of my favorites. I mean, those are 2 of my favorite movies of all time, really. But Star Trek 2009. I mean, just an absolute sci-fi classic. I gave it 5 stars. It's got a 3.6, which is pretty good to be fair on Letterboxd. So don't hate that. Also, The Big Short, which I gave 5 stars. That one's 3.8, so not that big of a difference. And similar with the next one too, Train to Busan, which was a first viewing. I gave it 5 stars. I really really liked it in my Carpentober watch, and it's got basically a 4 average rating. Christmas Vacation also made my list. Gave it 4.5. Average only of 3.5. I'll tell you about Corbin on rewatch this year too. I don't know if it's because when I got home back to my apartment back from Christmas, I watched the movie and it just did not hit as much. Kind of a struggle to finish this year, but still gave it 4.5 stars. So we'll see if we watch it next year. And then
I rewatched it this year in a theater and was like, this is not hitting as well.
Well, maybe we're on
and
the
I
same
lowered
thing,
my rating. So
yeah. So maybe it'll go down another half star next year. We'll see. But I don't know if I'll watch it actually. But my last one, Predator Badlands, which was a 3.5 rating average. I give it 4.5. I absolutely love that movie. So those were my rated higher than average. And then my lower list, which is super fun. My first one is Cars 2, which has a 3 rating somehow. I mean, that just makes no sense. But I gave it half a star, which it very rightfully deserves. That and Chicken Little still in the depths of my letterboxed rankings. My second one, The Family Stone, which I actually watched for an RCR seeing double episode. I gave it a star. It is a 3 average rating, which I had seen some of it before. Weirdly enough, I'd seen like the ending on TV once, and then when that scene came on again, I was like, oh wow, like this has completely different context now that I've seen the entire movie. But it's really weird. Sarah Jessica Parker is really bad in it. And they're like they're basically siblings just swapping partners and everybody acting like it's okay. But anyways, don't watch that movie. My third one is Little Nicky, which I gave half a star. I think it is my least favorite Sandler flick, and it's got a 2.5 average. But yeah, talking dogs, no go. Also weird accents and terrible haircuts, no go. Another fun one, Eraserhead, which is a Lynch movie. I've seen a few Lynch movies. I think this was not my favorite of his. I gave it 2 stars, mostly for the screaming, alien baby for most of the third act or whatever. It's got a 3.8 average, but yeah, not my favorite from Lynch. I'm excited to see more of his stuff though for this upcoming year. And then my last 2, both failed comedies. We got The Hangover Part 3, which has a 2.7 average somehow, and then Just Go With It, which has a 3.2 average somehow. I don't understand that. How does Happy Gilmore have a 3.4 and Just Go With It as a 3.2? I mean, what the hell are we doing, Letterboxd?
what kind of world do we live in?
Yeah, I don't even want to live in that world, if I'm being honest. But I gave it Hangover 3 1 star. It's really bad. And I gave Just Go With It 1.5, which I don't even know if it deserves. So I like that a lot. Being a patron, I feel like those represent me pretty well. But yeah, I'm excited to see yours.
Eraserhead, AirPod Baby. You just don't get it. Maybe one.
I think rewatch, it'll probably go up a star. But that baby pissed me off, man.
If you had a kid, you'd get it.
Exactly.
You gotta think of it as like a little Jimmy or Jenny just in a crib crying for you. It needs your help, but you're kind of scared of it.
Sounds like nightmares to me. Yeah.
But hey, isn't that what having a kid's all about? Nightmares. Rated higher than average for me. We got a couple 2025 flicks to start things off. First off, The Woman in the Yard, which I gave 3.5 stars and has a 2.28 rating. Not very well received film. I mean, I didn't like score it super highly, but I think this movie is directed by Yom Klet Sarah, and he directs the hell out of it. There's just so much like I'm gonna shoot this through a window or with a mirror or cracked, like, and to a certain extent it's like, okay, this is trauma core and some bullshit about like a woman and something happened in her past and suicide or whatever. But I just found like the the direction to just be very interesting and very effective, constantly every shot kind of trying to find a way to add maximalism to the frame in an interesting way that I appreciated. And that woman was in the yard, Kody. It's true.
Wow, good to know.
Jay Kelly, I gave 4.5 stars. Same thing happened with White Noise when that came out a couple years ago. I think I'm just in tune to the Bomback comedic delivery, the dialogue, everything about it. I appreciate and I really enjoyed this movie. It's one of my favorites of the year. Dr. Sleep, which I gave 4.5 stars. It's got a 3.37. So again, not that crazy of a jump, but I think I like this movie better than Shining. That's my hot take. I'm not a big Shining guy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a bad take.
These next two we will talk about more later on as some of my favorites of the year, but Mississippi Masala I gave 5 stars and RoboCop I gave 5 stars, both in the high 3 range, a 3.89 and a 3.91, very similarly scored. Just two of my favorite movies of all time, honestly. I really love both of them. RoboCop maybe a little bit more surprising for that to be said about, but just a really phenomenal film, from the effects to the messaging, everything about it. Look at the news, folks. I don't know what to tell you. And then finally, Knives Out, which I did get to see again in a theater for the first time since 2019, back when I think we went and saw it together at Purdue, and just a 5-star banger. And then rated lower than average. We got a couple Cage-tober watches. I gave Antichrist 1 star versus 3.39 stars. This just has some very shocking sexual violence in it, to be entirely candid, that did not really want to see, or was not in the mood to see at the time. And I don't feel like it really, I 100% get it. I get it. I understand what you're going for. Not my thing. Not really any interest in ever seeing it again. I appreciate the artistry. It's not even that I find it to be evil or awful. Just don't want to watch it. Then Dark Crystal, which I gave 2 stars, and it has a 3.72.
What a
just
hater.
kind of incomprehensible film. Do not know. Don't ask me. I watched it.
What do you mean?
Could have asked me right after. I wouldn't have been able to.
It's a
tell you
kids
what was
movie.
going on. Well, that I think is the big problem with it, because it's not a great kids film.
Look up the plot synopsis on Wikipedia. It'll all make sense.
Yeah, probably need to take some acid. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, I gave 1.5 stars, and that is a 3.22. That seems high, to be honest. The movie's just a big nothing burger. I don't think Jeremy Allen White is a movie star. He should stay on TV. Sorry. Or maybe paying CGI hut characters, but
he might get a nom for that. So,
he's definitely not going to get anything for that. That movie's going to get 0 nominations, and no one's ever going to talk about it again. Sorry to everyone involved. Jeremy Strong is there. Hamnet. This is a movie that very, could win Best Picture, and in another year might. I gave 2.5 stars, has a 4.19 rating. Found it very manipulative. You haven't seen it yet, right?
I've not yet. Yeah.
Well, if you see Hamlet, you'll have caught the climax. So there you go. Gremlins, I gave 2 stars, which was a rewatch for me. I just, I think it's okay. It's kind of a really stupid film about kids that are going to school on Christmas Eve. And then Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is my least favorite film of 2025.
Nice.
I gave 1 star versus a 2.61. So not that crazy of a dip, but I really hate it. And bad twists and bad animatronics, and some of the animatronics are good now. I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
No half-star movies this year, though. That's good, at least. Kept everything.
That is true. No 2025 half-star movies. I think I probably did watch a half-star movie at some point, but
right.
Thanks for listening to the episode. You can follow the rest of our happenings over here at Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at KHAP Podcasts, KHAP. Please follow us on Spotify, give us a rating, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow along for more.
All right, Kody, favorite theater experiences of the year, favorite watches. I do have a bunch, so we'll power through a lot, but I wanted to start with not my favorites, but I just wanted to hit a couple weird ones that happened. Okay. This is going back to Baby Girl.
Okay.
Both Baby Girl and Springsteen had something in common for me. Do you know what that is?
I don't even want to guess.
I attended what is called a baby day showing at the Alamo Draft Houses, which is a daytime screening of the film where they
Okay.
leave the lights on and it's a little bit quieter and you
Oh.
are allowed to bring a baby into the movie. It can be there. They're not going to kick you out. It can be cooing. It can maybe even cry a little, but the baby's allowed to be there with you. One ticket for adult and baby. And I saw the film Baby Girl with a real live baby in attendance. Same thing with Springsteen at the baby day showing, an adult with a baby watching these films. Springsteen, less weird. Maybe the kid, likes the music. Baby Girl, a little concerning that a child was in the presence of what was going on there.
I think very different reactions to the different movies for those showings. Springsteen, I'm on board. Music and babies, they combine well. Yeah, Baby Girl. I don't think that's a good choice, I think, for obvious reasons. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like for that one to have like the lights on too just makes it like more uncomfortable for some reason. So,
Right. You don't want to be able to look at anybody.
I don't want to look at anybody when I'm watching that movie. So, interesting choice, but I like the Springsteen shout out a lot. So, that is fun.
I watched the film Eddington, I think, with COVID present in theater.
Oh, wow.
And by that, I
That's
mean,
next level.
There was just a lot going on in that theater. It was back in Jersey City. There was a guy like a couple rows over who was just like coughing the entire film. There was people a row in front of me who were like talking and I think eating like KFC or something, passing around full buckets of food amongst each other that was not from the theater. I think somebody like got up at one point and said something like it felt like I was in Eddington when I was watching Eddington. So, interesting experience, kind of 4DX almost at the Newport. I told you this, but I haven't said it on the pod. When I went and saw The Housemaid recently, I was sitting there watching it, enjoying, Amanda Seyfried, Sydney Sweeney, she's on screen, you're having a good time. Then I hear a weird noise behind me at one point. I didn't really know what was going on, whatever. I try to just act natural. A steamy scene begins to happen between Sydney. I hear a bark. I hear a little bark behind me. I think somebody is that excited to see Sydney Sweeney. And then I turn and realize that it's actually a person who has brought a little dog into the theater. They're holding it and being escorted out of the movie because their dog was barking. And it was not a dog day showing. It was just a regular fucking Friday night packed house trying to see The Housemaid, and somebody brought their dog.
Maybe they got dog days switched up, man.
That's actually Tuesday nights, not Friday nights. But they did get kicked out, unfortunately. And nobody barked at the screen after that.
Oh, wow. Sad.
And then my final bad experience, I think I did talk about it on the pod. I went and saw, or I attempted to see All the President's Men. And there was just a crazy drip in the theater. Like the ceiling was dripping into a bucket and making a very loud splashing noise. So I got up and left. I did get to go see All the President's Men a little bit later in a different theater. All was rectified. And then like a week and a half later, Carter, Lauren, Mina and I all went and saw a film, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. And we were in the same theater with the dripping ceiling. The bucket was still there, but I think the drip had stopped. So we were able to watch the movie unencumbered, despite, like the back row being closed off.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man. Yeah. That's good work from janitorial staff, I'd say.
Yeah. So, those were maybe the lows, or at least the most interesting experiences. Well, let's talk about the highs. What was your favorite theater experience of the year, Kody?
Oh, that is tough. I think I'm going to say Weapons is probably my favorite of the year. Just because, I did go with a couple of my work friends, which was fun. And it was packed house, which is super fun too. But I wasn't like expecting that much from it, really. And it really blew me away. So I think just like, and I really enjoy movies like that too, of like ones that you connect with, with people that you didn't really expect. And like after the movie, we just like I love that too, when you hang out in the parking lot after and like talk about, just stupid shit. And with that movie too, there's so much just like randomness of, the plot and trying to figure out what's going on, with the class and everything. And then the shock factor is obviously there too. So kind of just everything encapsulating that movie, along with that theater experience, was probably my favorite of the year. But I had a ton. I was gonna say too, just like the amount of packed crowds that I was in this year compared to last year, I think is a lot more. For Sinners, Naked Gun, One Battle, Mickey 17, Superman. Like typically I prefer, not as many people in the theater, but I did have pretty much all of those experiences were pretty solid, other than Sinners, where they like left the heat on or something. So it was pretty sweaty at the end, which kind of fits, the vibe of the movie.
It's like you're burning up in the sun like a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, just not great walking out and you're sweating. So yeah, not ideal. But yeah, I had a ton. It's definitely hard to choose one, I think, as my favorite. Do you have a favorite for the year?
At the beginning of the year, like honestly, more than a year ago at this point, I think it was like January 4th, 2025. Me and I got to go see Seven in IMAX because they did the big re-release 4K restoration. That was so cool seeing that movie in theaters. It's one that obviously I had seen before. It was her first time ever watching it. She knew the twist, but still just like it's such a amazing movie to watch for the first time. Getting to see that in a theater was so cool. So honestly, that might be my favorite, but like I had so many cool individual experiences that I can kind of just run through quickly. Got to see like Revenge of the Sith in a movie theater because they did a re-release of that, something I, hadn't experienced. Got to see Love and Basketball for the first time on a rooftop outside in New York City. Got to see David Lynch's Inland Empire for the first time in a theater, as well as Mulholland Drive and Fire Walk with Me in theaters. But Inland Empire is a movie that, like, if I watched that at home, I would probably hate it and have turned it off and not been able to finish it. But kind of like that forced experience of sitting down 3 hours locked in to the, torture that Laura Dern is experiencing, kind of just changed the way that I view movies and look at like avant-garde and experimental cinema and opened me up to wanting to explore more non-traditional stories, I think, in an interesting way. And of course, that was all after he passed away. So it was an awesome opportunity to see his work on a big screen. After Gene Hackman passed away earlier this year, in New York, they did a retrospective around him for a week. So I got to see Night Moves, Hoosiers, Unforgiven, and Scarecrow all on the big screen in a week. Hoosiers, the director, was there and did a Q&A afterwards. Fucking Sinners, dude. Same thing for me, like 70 millimeter IMAX on the biggest screen possible. I saw it twice that way. It looks incredible. And just, I felt like I was levitating when that musical sequence hits. It's why it's my favorite movie of the year. Ne Zha 2, I didn't love the movie, but I think it was a really cool experience because I again saw it in Jersey City in a very packed theater with a lot of families. I was the only white boy in the theater. Like, it was a ton of Asian families together going to see this movie together. And it's cool to experience, like, this is a world cinema giving families an opportunity in Jersey City to go see a movie in their native language and getting to experience like a true blockbuster phenomenon. That was just kind of cool to be a part of, and me just kind of being the minority in the theater. I always appreciate that. I got to see Totoro, Goodfellas, and unfortunately Thunderbolts all on the same day for my birthday.
Why is that unfortunate?
That was it. Well, just, Thunderbolts was kind of like maybe
it's a banger. It's a banger.
The weird little end to that triple feature that I did, but it was fun. A lot of movies on 35 millimeter, Clueless, Requiem for a Dream, Us, like all got to see on film projected this year, which were so cool. Got to see Q&As. Same thing with Clueless. Amy Heckerling was there in person to talk afterwards. I saw Nashville with a pre-screening conversation of Ari Aster. Got to see Dogma at Kevin Smith's theater in New Jersey with Kevin Smith doing like a long hour-long Q&A afterwards. Got to attend the Chicago Film Festival and see 12 movies, 6 of which had director Q&As. Clint Bentley, Greg Quidar, Mona Fastfold, Spike Lee. Got to see all of them talk. And then I went and saw a short film called Castle One with the Chicago Film Society in a tiny little room where they did a whole like seminar on how projectors work in glass. And then they showed this like experimental short film from the early 60s where you hang a light bulb from the ceiling and it flashes as they're projecting the film. So I got to just see a fucking wide array of movies and stuff on analog formats and big screen. And I'm blessed with the amount of stuff that I'm able to see.
That was awesome. I think I am most jealous of the Dogma screening with Kevin Smith, just because I haven't seen it. And there's nowhere I can watch it, which is annoying.
Smodcastle Cinemas, the fucking movie theater he went to as a child and then bought, when he became wealthy enough to purchase his own movie theater from his films. So that was definitely a cool experience.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I think too, yeah, because a thing that I really like that you're talking about there is just like going and seeing more re-releases. I think that's another I think goal for me. Because I think over the years I have dabbled in that a little bit. I always talk about the Lion King re-release, which I love. But I think that's a goal of mine to go see more of those too. Because I do like that as a whole. But I mean, hell of a year for you, man, if I can say so. I think the only back-to-back like movies in the same day experience I had was I watched Phoenician Scheme, where I was like in the front row, and it was a packed house, which was electric. And then after that, it was Bring Her Back with the cantaloupe scene, also in a packed theater. So I think those was probably my only double theater day. But yeah, triple one. You said on your birthday, right? I feel like that's intense. I don't know if I could do that.
Kody, I've done 4 days. I've done 5. I've done 6. We've gone crazy. This was a big year, definitely for movie watching. I saw 166 total films in theaters. So of the 429, 166
Crazy.
in theaters, 108 different days. So a lot of double features in there, but 108 of 365. I was at the movie theater. I got some stats here. I saw 88 movies at AMC's. I saw 30 movies at Alamo, 8 movies at the Music Box, 8 movies at the IFC Center, 6 movies at the Lincoln Center in New York. I am an A-list member. This is not an ad, but I do just want to shout out if I was paying at the highest tier, because when I was in New York, I had to pay for the highest. Now that I've moved to Chicago, I can pay for a cheaper version. But the highest tier is $27.99. You could see a movie in all 50 states. You can see 4 movies a week, whatever. $27.99. If you put that out for a year, it's $335 for a total of 12 months of A-list. I saw 88 movies with my A-list pass. That means I spent $3.80 per movie, basically. So right there, guys, get A-list. You will make your money back in no time. You will see just as many movies. I mean, realistically, you could see like 200 if you wanted, because it's 4 movies a week. Of the 166, 99 of them were released in 2025, but 67 of them were old repertory screenings, or a couple years old, or whatever it may be. 5 movies in Dolby, 13 movies in IMAX. That also, A-list, paying the same ticket price. It's $35, fucking $30 to see a IMAX or Dolby screening, and that's the cost of a month subscription. So
it is stupid though, because like if I want to go see a movie in IMAX, like you said, I mean it basically covers the entire month with one. So it is almost a no-brainer, I feel like, in that sense. But yeah, 99 2025 movies in theaters is absolutely fucking wild. I counted mine. I saw 25 movies in theaters. So the ratio, it's pretty, I mean, it lines up, but yeah, that's insane. You're living in a theater this year.
you got to start the double feature, the triple feature. That's if you're already there.
Well, I usually do that and then come back home and watch another. I just hate sitting, without my couch for that long. But
that's true.
Something for sure to improve on. Always.
Gotta get Jimbo into the theater.
Dude, I'm down. I get sneaky, man. I used to do it with like Subway sandwiches super easily though. Just a cat. Yeah. True. You can throw that out there too.
I have to bring him. Well, I mentioned that I actually had a 6 movie day, and that'll bring us to our next category, our favorite mini marathons, our favorite little self-created watches that we did. So I think I mentioned this on the pod, but I did. Mina and I, it was one of our goals before we left New York City to achieve the 6 movie day. And this is how we did it. At 9 a.m., we saw Freakier Friday at the Alamo Draft House. At 11:45 a.m., we watched Weapons for the first time, which, looking back, that the first time I saw Weapons was in this context is a little bit crazy.
Pretty
I have rewatched it since then and still love it just as much. At 2:40 p.m., I saw The Naked Gun, the new reboot version. Didn't love that.
Hater. Shout out the Snowman.
Shout out to the Snowman from the film Red One.
Nope.
At 5:15 p.m., I saw Zola, which the director was there for Q&A for that film as well. Always love getting to see those. Fun we could get a Q&A into the 6 movie day. At 9:30 p.m., I saw Alien, of course, the
Nice.
1979 Ridley Scott film. And then I finished it off with Cure at midnight. So, the film finished at, whatever, 1:45 a.m. But they all started. It started at 11:59. It was all in one calendar day. I did not go to sleep. Watched 6 movies in theaters at, I think it was 5 different theaters, because I think Weapons and The Naked Gun were at the same theater, but otherwise 5 different theaters.
I mean, yeah, it's a heck of a day. I mean, was there any snoozing during any of the movies, do you think?
Not for me.
No?
For Mina, yeah.
Okay.
She slept through the last one for sure.
Understandable. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't, because I've been to movies with you multiple times and I've seen you sleep through a couple. So maybe we need to double check that. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty awesome day. I feel like 6 in a day, all in theaters. I don't even know if I don't know if I could even do that, to be honest. I don't know if you could
I
recreate
wouldn't
that.
recommend it to do on the regular basis, but it was a test, a feat of endurance, and how
it's
well
impressive.
did we know the city? How well could we plan out this extravaganza? And
Yeah,
it's something that I really pride myself in, is the ability to time movies up very well. I know how long the previews last. I know how long it'll take to get from theater A to theater B.
It is more of a scheduling achievement, I feel like, than a watching one, but it's still a watching achievement nonetheless. But yeah, that is awesome. For me, I say it's not the same because I wasn't in theaters, but the most movies I watched in one day this year was 4 in one day. So still pretty good. It was basically like a last ditch hurrah of, this is the last day I have Netflix, so I'm canceling it. So I'm going to watch as many movies on Netflix as I can in one day. So on March 31st, I started off the day by watching a Friday, which I'd actually never seen before. Shout out Ice Cube. Pretty solid. I think I give it 3 stars. The second one that I watched was Peanut Butter Falcon, which I'd never seen before, and didn't like that as much. It's got an interesting story, but Shia and Dakota, I mean, what kind of duo is that? I think the heart of the movie was there, but yeah, just the cast I didn't like. So that was 2.5 stars. And then I watched the Happy Time Murders. Do you remember what that is, Corbin? Do you know what that is?
Vaguely.
So basically, I think it's a Henson. I don't remember exactly who it is. I mean, it's really bad, obviously. I mean, you got Melissa McCarthy, and then it's Muppets, but it's like rated R, and it's like I don't know. It's really weird sexual stuff that the main character's doing. So I'd recommend it, but I feel like movies like that, it's good to have a real shitter kind of in the binge, just to cleanse the palate a little bit. So we finished off with Set It Up, which is one of my favorite Netflix movies ever, I think. Glenn Powell, Zoe Deutsch. Yeah, I almost lost her name for a second, but she's awesome. I think she's underrated. She's probably on my underrated actresses list, honestly, from a while ago. But that's an easy 4 stars. Might get bumped up to 4.5 next time I watch it. So the Netflix binge, I'd recommend it, honestly. I think it's fun. Start off with a comedy, get a little bit serious, go crazy off the walls, and then end it, with some rom-com action. I feel like that's kind of what Netflix has to offer, really, is kind of those genres. So that was the most I watched in one day. I didn't make it to 6, and I didn't go to the theater that day, but 4 was a lot for sure.
I do just want to mention that March 31st was a Monday, and yet you watched Friday.
And yeah, I don't know. Well, that's true. I was gonna say I don't even know why I watched so many that day. But do you always have to watch Friday on a Friday? Like, is that a rule? Is it like Friday the 13th?
A better experience. I don't know.
Well, I had a good time with it, so maybe if I watched it on a Friday, I'd love it even more. But yeah, that's a good point.
6 was definitely the most I watched in a day. I did have another funny one where I watched that I wanted to mention. I watched 42, Babe, Pig in the City, and Babe. I guess it was probably more 42, Babe, Pig in the City, all at a slow day at work in February. Binged all 3 of those over an 8-hour shift. I think all were free on YouTube and available for me to watch, which is always fun. This year I watched all the Star Trek movies, not in one day, but I did do a little Star Trek marathon, which I know you appreciate. Except for the new ones. I didn't watch Into the Darkness because fuck that. I did the Super Conversation with Jackson, so I watched all the Superman movies over the course of the year, which was fun. I started an MCU rewatch this year. I made it up to the first Guardians film. I was like, man, this is really good. I just want to watch Guardians 2. Then I did that, and then I didn't watch another MCU movie after that, which I think is fun.
Yeah, it's a good time to stop.
Yeah, I was chronological up until that point, and then I was release order up until that point. I watched them all. I did the whole first phase, Avengers.
I was gonna say you didn't watch Captain Marvel. There's no way.
Yeah, didn't make it up that far. I wasn't set in the 90s. I wasn't doing the Greta Gerwig approach to the Narnia series. Got to start with the prequel. I think Thor would technically be the first one, right? Because when does that happen? I mean, if you're watching like the first part of Thor, right, or something, the opening of Thor.
Well, no, I think that takes place canonically. It's after what, Iron Man 2, because it's the whole thing of Phil.
Well, I just mean the
he leaves Iron
scene
Man 2.
When you see it. Isn't it like the 1400s or something?
Oh yeah, I guess the original with the ice people. Yeah, that's a good point. That's definitely very early.
I did Meow Month after the passing of my cat, R.I.P., where I watched a bunch of cat movies in the month of May. Had a great time with that. Also watched Totoro during that time, so the cat bus affected me greatly. Watched some baseball movies right before baseball started. Major League 2, EFIS, Trouble with the Curve. A lot of fun little mini binges in there. You know, I think we talked about this last year. It's like, sometimes you get stuck on like a theme or an idea, and you kind of try and watch all the movies like that.
Yeah, actually, I've been watching randomly baseball movies this past week. So I need to check out EFIS. I've not seen that one yet, but just checked out Bull Durham. Garbage on rewatch, didn't like it. But I had a bunch of random stuff too. I wanted to shout out from this year. I did also watch all of the original Star Trek movies, which I actually had not seen the majority of them. So that was cool. Going through the Shatner of all of that. And then I did actually watch all of the Next Generation movies too. And then I watched Star Trek 09, which I mentioned earlier. But I also did not go past that. So nobody really needs to. Yeah. Good place, I think, for both of us. But yeah, other than that, obviously wanted to bring up Sandler Summer again, just get official numbers on that. That was 31 Sandler movies that I watched basically in about a month and a half. So
you do the work, Kody. No one can say you don't do the work. You do.
Yeah. When I'm committed, it's getting done. But yes, that was fun. And then I want to shout out Carpentober, obviously, as well. At the end of the year, had a lot of fun with that. And then lastly, I kind of just wanted to shout out, I had another 3-day binge and another random day, October 11th. I had a really fun binge I wanted to shout out. So first I watched Tron Legacy. It was with, obviously, the Ares episode. And then on top of that, a couple of Legacy sequels are coming here. I watched Top Gun Maverick after that, which was the first time I'd rewatched it, and enjoyed it substantially more than I had the first time. And then the Nightcapper, which took a little bit longer, was Blade Runner 2049. So I think that really was just a good day, especially like finishing on such a high. And because I did like Tron Legacy a lot too. Like it was just solid 3 stars, solid 3.5 stars, and then boom, Denis coming in with a 5 at the end of the day. So I think just like quality wise, that was probably my favorite movie watching day of the year, even though it had Top Gun Maverick, which I'm kind of a hater of. But
2026, the year I watched Blade Runner. Both of them.
The first one? You haven't seen the first one?
I have seen the first one like a
really
long time ago, and
you didn't understand it. Yeah, it's really you need a couple watches. Yeah, and especially if you weren't playing. It was like
read the book first.
It was me watching Dune the first time. I haven't read the book, so I don't have Rex on that. But great film, one of the best monologues in movie history, and Harrison Ford's not old, so what else can you ask for, really?
The other thing that turns me off of Blade Runner is just that there's a lot of versions of it. I don't fucking Ridley Scott, man.
It doesn't matter. Just watch the main version. Yeah, Ridley. I mean,
but what is the main? Because it's like, is it the theatrical cut? Is now the director's cut? The final cut?
Because they are very different stories, kind of too. I don't know.
Yeah,
watch them all.
That's the problem.
Watch the watch the original. Yeah, the director.
Whatever's on streaming.
Watch the original, then watch 2049, then watch the directors. It's the whole
Okay.
process.
Gotcha. That'll be the triple feature. I do love a good, like, listen, I do like watching a
Gonna take a
director's
long
cut.
time.
Just, for the first time, I want to understand what I'm missing.
Oh, I think Blade Runner's 4.5 for me, and 2049 is 5. So, although it does have Leto, so I don't know if it can be 5 stars, but that's what I have it at.
Is it possible? I don't know. You tell me. All right, Kody, top 5 new watches. What did you watch for the first time in 2025 that was just a favorite for you?
Not released in 2025, right?
Not released in 25.
Okay.
Non-2025 releases. And then
Yeah.
we'll do 2025 after this.
That we watched for my list, what I watched for the first time. Doesn't matter which way I start, or just run through them, do you think? Go 5-1, go 1-5, doesn't matter. I don't really have a particular order, for being honest, but
Leaving it to your editorial decision making here, Terry. And then I'll follow suit with whatever you do.
Okay, we'll go 5-1. So my favorite first watches of 2025, not released this year, but just first watches for me. The first one just made the cut, but it's a pretty dang good movie. It's Jojo Rabbit, which I had not seen before. I think it is maybe my favorite Taika movie, which I did really like. What's it called? Something Shadows. We're Lost in the Shadows. I don't know. Whatever that office zombie or vampire movie is.
I keep
What We Do in
thinking
the
Dark
Shadows. There we go.
But that's the fucking Johnny Depp movie.
No, it's What We Do in the
which
Shadows.
is why you're.
Yeah, I really liked What We Do in the Shadows. I didn't think that there would be a movie that Taika made that I liked more than that. But Jojo Rabbit was damn good, man. ScarJo, I mean, she never really misses. Obviously, just like definitely, pulls the emotions. So it was kind of where it goes with her character.
The shoes.
Yeah, the shoes. And going into it too, is like it's Taika, and he's playing Hitler. It's like this is probably going to be, just bullshit. But it is actually really heartfelt and, just good storytelling altogether. And it doesn't, like disrespect that time period, which I was, surprised by, but at the same time, just a really good overall movie and a really great supporting cast. Shout out to the guy on Game of Thrones who gets his dick cut off. He's pretty good in it. Number 4 on my list is going to be Another Round.
Talking about Rebel Wilson?
That's funny. Alfie Allen, I believe, who's in John Wick 1. But
yes,
Rebel,
he is the bad guy. He gets that dog killed. Fuck that guy.
Don't kill the dog, man.
Good Sam Rockwell stuff. The thing about
Sam Rockwell too.
The thing about this movie is I think it walks a narrow tightrope. And it's one that I loved originally. I think my love for it has waned a little bit, I think, on rewatches, and I think probably as the Taika thing has kind of waned in the culture. But it's still like a very impressive movie that you're able to make that subject matter both funny and extremely endearing as well.
Yeah, 100%. And a great kid performance, which you love.
Yeah, the kid from Home Sweet Home Alone. That's what you're on about, right?
Yeah, it is him actually. But I was talking about the other one. But anyways,
Roman Griffiths Davis from The Long Walk as well.
Oh right, he's in that. Yeah, barely. He goes out early. But spoiler alert. My next one is going to be Another Round, which is the Mads Mikkelsen vehicle. I think it's Danish, right? That was
Thomas Vinterberg.
Yeah, it was an Oscar contender a few years back now. But first watch for me, just a story too. I didn't know anything about it going in, so it being the group of friends is always a good plot, obviously. But then their kind of trials and tribulations of bringing alcohol into kind of the workplace and stuff like that. It did engage me. Like I was definitely interested in the story. And then, it's kind of a similar thing too of it. It definitely pulls on, the emotions and the heartstrings and it definitely got me. So one I am excited to rewatch. I think it's just something that kind of blew me away almost from my expectations. So, and I do want to watch because that director made another one with Mads that's on my list. So excited to see that. But I think you've seen this too, haven't you?
Yes, I do like Another Round a lot. Thomas Vinterberg and Lars von Trier together started this movement called Dogma 95 in the 90s, which was like this approach to filmmaking, basically stripping it down. You could only shoot in real locations. You could only shoot handheld. There was a whole like set of rules and criteria of what would make a Dogma 95 film. The first one that he directed, called Festin, or The Celebration in English, is a phenomenal movie. Like, would highly recommend watching that. It's got a lot of kind of almost like Succession energy, like this big, rich, powerful family who obviously has all this like dark, probably like Nazi shit going on in the background. And it also reminds me a lot of like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and like its examination of like those types of families in, Nordic, Scandinavian countries. And it is, that's a cool kind of bit of early filmmaking history. He's a guy who, started with this indie filmmaking, belief. And then, here he is 20 years later making movies that are apparently getting readapted into the English language with Leonardo DiCaprio starring, is what they announced.
Okay.
A long time, like right after Another Round came out. They're like, we're doing it with Leo.
Probably riding its success a little bit, but
yeah,
like, I mean, if you bring Mads back, I'm kind of down low key. So Mads and Leo, Another Round, English version, kind of would be sick, but I don't know if you need to really make it. I guess, the English audience didn't have that much exposure to it, probably, but it's pretty good on its own. So I'd say no go there. And then, well, I guess the 2 and 3 we can kind of lump together. I was talking about a little bit earlier with my Spielberg kind of watch. It is Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan, which I gave both of those 5 stars on the first watch. Schindler's List, similar to the first I talked about. I mean, the ending too really got me, and I think I talked about this before too. But just the perspective it puts on you of like seeing the actual people, the movie is about, and they're not that old. Like this movie, its events, it didn't happen that long ago. Even though, when I was watching it, it feels like ages. Like you feel like it's the dark ages when you're watching this movie, but it really does a good job kind of bringing you back to earth and back to where we, were at this time period not that long ago. So super effective. And obviously just, the overall storytelling is important, but the performances are really good too. Neeson, obviously, but you got a madman. What's his face? Bone guy. What's it? Ray Fiennes, man. Absolute psychopath in this movie. He's phenomenal. And then you got an underrated Ben Kingsley, I believe, as well. I thought he was solid. So good flick. And then Saving Private Ryan. I mean, just a really good war movie. I've been trying to watch a lot more of those as well, because it's a genre that, it's just it's not easy to watch. So I kind of stay away from it in general. But I did enjoy this watch, honestly. Again, kind of the ensemble's crazy good. It is kind of a fun shtick that it's Matt Damon. It's kind of Private Ryan. And then once they kind of do find him too, like it took an unexpected turn that I didn't really, see going in, that I really love the resolution of that as well. So brutal, definitely a tough watch. Obviously, kind of the opening, on the beach. Really stuff that just carries with you after you watch it as well. So just phenomenal stuff from Spielberg. That took me a little bit to watch, but would highly recommend it, obviously, if you haven't seen either of those classics.
And of course I haven't. So, maybe 2026.
Oh, really?
I'll knock those off.
Oh, heck. That never happens. I saw movies that you haven't seen. So eat it.
Hey,
how's
Kody,
that feel?
You had a great year. You're gaining on me in a lot of ways. I will say the most impressive thing about Schindler, not the most impressive thing, one of the most impressive things about Schindler's List, it came out in the year 1993, the same year as Jurassic Park. Fucking insane.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Like Spielberg, two movies of that, quality and that cultural significance in 1 year. Yeah, it's insane. The dude is a maestro. Hopefully he hasn't lost his touch this year, but yeah, that is insane. It was the same year release. My number 1 is Train to Busan, which I did mention a little bit earlier in my Letterboxd stats. But yeah, this movie's kick ass. Honestly, I love this movie. I think for sure it deserves the number 1 spot of new watches for me on here. It really does combine, the zombie genre, with the action genre. It takes a dope turn where they're like, "Nah, fuck it. Like we are fighting the zombies to get where we need to go, to stay alive and keep the people we care about safe." And there's good character growth with the main guy. He's an asshole, but it's the apocalypse. Everybody gets a second chance. He's got a daughter, so you get connected to them. Just all the emotional beats, all the action beats, all the gory zombie beats, I thought were just phenomenal. So yeah, overall, I think this was definitely my favorite new watch of the year.
That's fun. I feel like that was probably a pretty unexpected one too. Like you didn't think that was going to be the best movie he's watched of the year.
Definitely not. And it was on Carpentober as well. So I probably wouldn't have watched it this year without that. So shout out to Carpentober. But yeah, another for sure surprising one.
You got to watch the sequel, Kody, Peninsula.
Is there a sequel? I was not aware of that. So I'm on board. Put that on the watch list. That's an easy one.
I think it's more that it's just like
same universe.
Zombie. Yeah. Like I don't think any of the characters.
There's no characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them die anyways, but rip.
I own a 4K that is both of them together. Train to Busan and Peninsula in one. So
that's dope.
Come on over.
Say less.
I'll let you watch it. My top 5 new watches. We did mention a couple of them already, but number 5 for me is Let the Right One In, which I got to see in theaters on 35 millimeter. It was a KHAP watch for me. Actually, I keep saying KHAP. It was actually not a Carpentober watch for me. I think it was just a horror movie that I watched in October. But it actually ended up being probably my favorite horror movie of the entire October. A lot of vampire movies, especially modern ones, are love stories or are twisted love stories. And there's always that kind of thing of, okay, well, if the vampire is centuries old and the human is whatever age they're like, there's that, questionable power dynamic there beyond the already, evident that they're a vampire and they're human. This movie examines that with 2 children, one of which is a vampire and one of which is an actually kid. And like, it's a love story between these two, but is it also kind of a creepy thing that's happening where this is like a centuries old lady who's manipulating this child? And there's some incredible imagery, light and dark and snow and fire. Just one of my favorite vampire movies. Well, one of my top 5 favorite horror movies of all time that entered this year. Really enjoyed that. It was so cool to see it with an audience as well. So definitely recommend checking that out. I know Matt Reeves did an American remake as well. So I guess if you need it to be in English, you can watch that.
Have you seen that? Is it good?
I have not. I think Carter watched it for his Cagetober 2 years ago and said nice. Okay. It's called Let Me In, I believe.
Yeah. I expect more from Reeves, but yeah, that is a cool subversion, I feel like, of that genre. So I remember you saying that during Carpentober as well. And that is interesting. So I'll have to check that one out.
And then RoboCop was my number 4.
Yes.
Watch of the year.
Love that.
So cool. American Jesus. We love it. Mulholland Drive was number 3 for me. Really phenomenal movie. I actually watched that twice in 2025. I got to watch it early in the year in theaters, like I mentioned. And then Mina and I watched it here in Chicago after we moved on my Criterion Blu-ray. Number 2 is Mississippi Masala, another movie that I didn't mention as being highly rated. It's funny. Do you know the director of this film is Mira Nair? Do you know who Mira Nair's son is, Kody?
Do they have the same last name?
No, they don't. But they are a politician, a prominent political force in America.
I was going to say Helen Mirren, but that's also not his son.
One of the fastest rising stars in American politics.
I don't even want to say a name.
Her son is Zoran Mamdani, the current mayor of New York, which I watched that movie, I believe, on Election Day, actually, kind of in honor.
I think you did say that.
So maybe he's a little bit of a Nepo baby. Shocking Truth comes out. Who knew? But this movie is about a Indian Ugandan woman who is forced to move to the United States because of the history of Uganda and the things that have happened there and kind of forced displacement, who falls in love with an African-American man in the South, played by Denzel Washington. And it's just this like amazing love story about people from kind of 2 different places. It examines their families and their cultures in such a really interesting and unique way. And I just found it to be like a really amazing love story. It was funny. It was touching, not, overly saccharine or like too obvious. And it doesn't like play too hard into the ideas of the tough past that either of these characters have. It feels very real and honest, in a fun way. And it also, served as a history lesson a little bit for me as well, which I always appreciate when, you get to watch a movie and learn something new about a place and a culture. And then another one, my number 1 and 2, they're both Denzel movies because number 1 was Malcolm X, the Spike Lee film, which I watched the first time this year. Just this epic 3-hour long biopic about a man who never stopped trying to be better, never stopped trying to learn. Maybe you don't agree with every single stance that he took. I think I found myself agreeing with a lot of things that he said over the course of his life, but I think he was constantly changing his opinions. He was constantly updating things. There's things that happen in the first hour of the movie that by the time you get to the final act of the movie, the character of Malcolm has changed drastically and would probably have a differing opinion. And I think that's something like really admirable and also something really cool to show. Like, people can change, people can grow, their opinions should develop over time. And then, of course, he was fucking murdered for those opinions changing and in the ways that they changed. One of the greatest performances of all time from Denzel. Again, him portraying that transition of a man, the way it kind of stylistically changes. Just a really incredible movie that I recommend everyone watch.
Well, did he win the Oscar for that? Wasn't he robbed?
Yeah, he did not.
That is crazy. Denzel's been getting robbed for decades, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a good pick.
It was nominated for actor and best costume design. Ruthie Carter, who did eventually get to win for Wakanda Forever, or Black Panther, the original one. Finally,
she probably she might have won for Wakanda Forever too, but I feel like it was just like,
I think maybe she did win both, honestly.
But the quality for the first one, I feel like, was higher. But she deserved both for sure. Because it's like those weird blue, like warrior suits that were just god awful. But everything else was good.
Yeah, she did win for both Black Panthers. Yeah,
shout out, deserved. I love that.
But the fucking like the zoot suits and all the costumes in this movie are incredible. So it's understandable. But yeah, such a cool movie and would highly recommend giving it a spin for the people. Kody, what are your top 5 2025 releases? We don't have to talk too deeply about these because we'll do more late. But just quickly at this point in the year, what are your top 5?
Yeah, and we've talked about, I think, the majority of these on the podcast too, so don't need to go crazy in depth. But my number 5 right now, they'll probably get bumped. By the time I watch all the Oscar noms, is Wake Up Dead Man, Knives Out 3. Really enjoyed it. Josh O'Connor, just a dog. Josh Brolin, crazy person. Great, good movie. My number 4, right before Predator Badlands. I'll tell you what, man, I love this movie. I'll be a defender of this movie till the day I die. I mean, it's by far the best Predator script I've ever seen. Great action. I mean, we make the Predator a good guy. I'm on board. And he's on this crazy ass planet. Everything's trying to kill him, but he's the Predator. He does the killing. It's genius. My number 3 is Sorry Baby. Sorry Baby is my favorite A24 movie of the year. Just the direction, the story. If you've not seen this one, this would be probably my highest recommendation because I feel like all my other ones people have probably seen. But yeah, just everything is off the charts. Go listen to our mini episode on it as well. And I really love that movie. I think that's probably the first one I'll rewatch out of that 5, honestly, that I'll talk about here. But my number 2 is Weapons. Mentioned it earlier. Hell of a movie. Josh Brolin again. Weird dream sequence, but everything else I really, really love. Julia Garner. She deserves more kind of leading roles too. And yeah, just horror was off the charts this year. Shout out to my number 1 as well, which is Sinners, which I don't think will move. I think that top 3 is pretty steady. I'd be surprised if that top 3 goes anywhere, but I think it's just undeniably the best movie of the year and made me feel stuff that really no other movie did. So shout out Michael B. Jordan. Shout out Black Panther. We were just talking about, but I cannot wait to see what this guy does next. So maybe they'll do a sequel. I don't really want to see it. Let him. He's making Black Panther 3, but Coogler, man, just do your own thing. Like, just make original movies for the next 20 years, and I think you'll be fine. So that's my top 5 right now.
Love it. I think we share 2 out of the 5 as the same. My number 5 is Jake Kelly, as I mentioned earlier. Just the Bomback thing works on me. I like this one more than White Noise, so I had to rate it very highly because I rated White Noise very highly. Number 4, One Battle After Another. really enjoyed this movie. I think it, everything that everyone has said about it, including the things that we've talked about on the podcast, are all the reasons it's great, whether it's, a few small beers with Benicio, that detour, or, everything it has to say about the current political moment. Super cool movie with, my favorite actor as the lead. Number 3 is Wake Up Dead Man. Shout out to you as well. Both of us cracking the top 5 with that one. Did not expect to like this one. I feel like this one was a surprise where I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be decent, but I can't imagine I really love it that much. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised with its approach to faith, the mystery that it kind of spun, and just, how fun this whole cast was and how great Josh O'Connor was as kind of the true lead of the film. Number 2 is a movie that I don't think we've really talked about a ton on the podcast, or maybe even at all. The Voice of the Hein Rajab. This is a Palestinian film. It's about real events that happened just a few years ago. I think in 2024, maybe late 2023. And it just absolutely crushed me. Like, I cried. I think the entire theater was crying. It is a very heartbreaking story. About a little girl who's trapped in a car with her entire family who is dead, stuck in a quarantine zone in an area that the Israeli military has deemed nobody's allowed to go into. And it follows the Red Crescent, basically a 911 call center, as they're talking to this girl, just trying to get an ambulance clearance to go pick her up. It's literally the whole movie is them on the phone with her, then trying to do all this red tape logistical coordinating between, what the Israeli military is allowed to say and all this stuff just to get a path. They have an ambulance there that's like 5 minutes away. And you spend this entire movie as they try and get through this. It is based on a obviously true story, and it integrates a lot of real life footage and sound recordings in a way that I was surprised about and very impressed with. Because this was something that was publicly being shared in social media as it was happening. There's all the call recordings that exist at the movie at certain points, switches between the actors and the real call recordings. The little girl is not played by an actor. Everything that is her in the movie is the real voice of this child. And it's just fucking awful, the things that are currently happening over there in Palestine right now, and continue to happen. So this movie is very important. And I think it also just dramatizes real life in a way that I had never seen before, which I was kind of impressed by. And then number 1, of course, is Sinners. Just kind of the movie experience of the year. It's tough because this year, last year, the year before that, it's like Dune 2, Oppenheimer. I feel like my favorite movie is kind of always the consensus populist pick. But it's hard to deny when these movies that are at the top are so great. And then, we get to have a little bit more personal taste, in the 2, 3, 4, 5 range. But Sinners, it's an amazing story about jazz music and the Black experience and the making of the film and everything surrounding Coogler trying to achieve this dream of completing it is reflexive of what was created in the movie. It's also just a fucking amazing vampire and horror movie. It's got incredible Irish jigs and blues performances and uses IMAX in a way that is actually pushing the form rather than just being like, hey, we got it on a big screen. But no, it's actually using it to tell its story in an interesting way. It's kind of undeniable. The action is a little weak at the end, but it's hard to fucking, when you're picking nits, it's pretty incredible film. And like you said, Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. I think Michael B. Jordan's directing and starring in Thomas Crown Affair remake next.
You pumped?
Sure.
I mean, I'm excited.
It's got Lily Gladstone in it, which is sick, and Adria Arjona.
Is it okay? I like her. Is it just one Michael B. Jordan performance, or is he doing double duty again?
I do think it is just one. I don't think he's playing twins, unfortunately. So
it's disappointing.
Maybe half as good.
Well, heck, if it's half as good as Sinners, it'll still be solid. But yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just it's hard to deny greatness, from these top. Like you said, Dune Part 2. I mean, yeah, everybody's gonna say that, but it's the best movie of the year, and same thing with Sinners. So, objectively, it's just better. It is.
And I mean, listen, when spectacle and blockbuster is done right, like that's my favorite fucking thing.
Yeah.
So when it's Oppenheimer, when it's Dune, when it's Sinners, probably the Odyssey next year, maybe Dune 3. It'll be interesting to see which one comes out on top. But
maybe Doomsday. Maybe it'll surprise you.
maybe they'll all suck and we'll completely pivot and our favorite movies will be The Cat in the Hat.
I think we might have to stop the pod the day that happens, but Cat in the Hat, 5 stars. Book it.
All right, Kody, last but not least, do you have any goals for 2026? Anything? I didn't go too heavy on this because I failed all my 2025 goals.
Oh, right. I don't know how, but fair enough. I mean, the main one for me is just like, I'm close. I think I could get to 365. I think it's a possibility.
The official one a day, even
Yeah.
if it's not actually one a day, but
right. Yeah, like each year I've been building, so maybe we don't get all the way there, but that's always, I think, the end goal. So we're going to go for it. Other than that, I mean, more stuff that we said, like go to the theater more. Like I said, I went 25 times, so maybe double up or get to 35 would be fun. The only other thing too, I don't even know if I want to say it on the pod, so maybe cut it, but maybe I'll watch the Harry Potter movies. I don't know. It's kind of a lot of commitment, but I've been hovering over the first one on Max here recently, or on Peacock, whatever it's on. So I think I'll watch it eventually. I don't know if I'll get through the whole series, but I think that'd be a fun goal of knocking those out. Since I've seen a little bit of the Goblet, thanks to that one Pattinson scene, and I have seen Azkaban.
It is tough because you've already seen the best one, so it's like your expectations. It can only get worse from here. But
I feel like I like the genre in general, so I feel like I'll enjoy them, and it's worth the watch. So we'll see, but I'll say that half-heartedly. We'll watch those.
I think I've mentioned before. We got to save it. We got to do something. Podcast. We got to create something out of it. If you're gonna watch the Harry Potter movies, it can't just be on you on HBO Max giving money to J.K. Rowling. We gotta do something with it.
It's good.
My big thing is just to watch everything that I own on physical media. Like
Nice.
I've been this year. I think I've already watched 9 movies, a couple of them in theaters. Haven't streamed anything. It's either theaters or stuff I own so far. And I want to try and keep that up as much as possible. Obviously I'm gonna rent stuff and stream stuff, but I have fucking 400 movies in there, and I've only watched like 250 of them, so that'll get me through half my watching next year if I just try and get through all that. So I think that's a good goal. And then on top of that, like more world cinema, more experimental stuff, non-traditional storytelling, avant-garde. Like I don't. There's a ton of classics I haven't seen. There's a ton of Oscar-y Best Picture winner movies I haven't seen. To me, even though we care a lot about that stuff, I don't think that is the truth of film history. Like that is one qualifier of great things and one example of recognition and quality. But I think I'm beginning to learn there's so much like world cinema and so many people that exist. A guy, Bellatar, is a filmmaker who passed away a couple of days ago that I've never seen any of his films and was never an Oscars guy, never like a guy who was necessarily accepted by the American mainstream, and yet is considered one of the great filmmakers. Like there's guys like that. There's people like that. Claire Denis. Like there's so many filmmakers that I need to dive into beyond the obvious like AFI top 100 lists. Like I want to be a little bit more expansive, and I try and find the more niche movies. I want to be a little weird with my watching.
Yeah, you just want to get a little weird. I like it. I think that's fun. Because at this point I feel like you've seen most of everything. Like
there's a ton of fucking holes and there's a lot of obvious stuff too. But it's like, why don't I watch the obvious stuff? I got plenty of time to see that.
You can watch, the Star Trek movies again, or you can go crazy with it. So I like it. I'll rewatch the Star Trek movies for sure. But you go crazy.
Maybe I'll watch Beyond for the first time in 2026.
It's not bad. Have you seen it in darkness? I think you have in general, right?
I think I saw it when it came out, but I don't.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But Beyond's better. Shout out Idris. No mention of Idris this episode. Robbery, but he's pretty mid in that.
He was in Zootopia 2. That's where I will mention him.
He's good in that.
Well, Kody, this has been a fun one. Fun look back at our 2025 watching. Any final thoughts?
I just think it was a really good year. I don't know, like, the stuff coming out next year does excite me more than, like, this year coming in, did, but I don't know if I think this movie year will kind of stack up in the 2020s as one of my favorite, of the decade, so I'm pretty high on it, and yeah, excited for 26.
We've made it halfway through the decade, Cody. We'll see if
Crazy.
see if we'll make it. This year will be the 5-year anniversary of the pod, so
Ooh,
big things happening. Who knows?
born in COVID, here to last.
Ooh. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Say, Gavin.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.